The Timeshift.
Hello and welcome to The Timeshift. Jodie Whittaker has been announced as the latest Doctor Who. I'm going to be talking about this. I'm rather hot, sweaty and kind of angry, for reasons that you're probably not expecting. So let us just dive headfirst into it. Okay, so it's been about 45 minutes now since the announcement was made. You know what, I'm genuinely curious what you think about all this. By all means, leave me a message in whichever website you're watching this on. I'm going to be honest with you, this video is going to be incredibly off the cuff. And like I say, it's only been a matter of minutes now since the announcement was made. I have dared to look on Twitter to see what the reaction is going to be, and it is pretty much what I expected it to be. Half the people on Twitter seem to be, yay, women, feminism, and the other half of them seem to be, boo, women and feminism, and here I am, just sat in the middle thinking, oh, fuck, this is going to get political, isn't it? And I'm really dreading where we're going to be in about a year's time with this in mind. Oh, fuck me. This is going to turn into another Ghostbusters 2016 thing, isn't it? It's just going to turn into this big argument about feminism. I don't fucking care about the politics side of things. If you do, then fine. I'm not going to get into that because life's too short to get into arguments over the political wanglings and fandanglings of a children's science fiction programme. It really fucking isn't worth it. And to be honest with you, there's one thing that I'm really pissed off about, but it isn't really to do with the casting or anything like that. It's the whole contrivance of how we got here. This was announced. They announced that they were going to do the announcement on Friday with this trailer of the number 13 appearing, as though to signify, given the production value, that the BBC at some point cared about all this in advance. And then it was announced during the Wimbledon finals, the Wimbledon's men's finals, because, yeah, that pretty much signalled where we were going with this, didn't it? And I had to sit there for about an hour and a fucking half, just sat here painting me Warhammer figures whilst in the background 15 love for an hour and a half whilst I waited for this announcement. And in the end, the announcement is almost exactly how I thought it was going to be. A 90-second trailer built up and hyped up by someone who didn't give a shit. Then after it, someone who didn't give a shit, not giving a shit, and then that's it. We went on with the rest of our lives. I don't see why in God's name we had to do it like this. Well, we couldn't have just released the trailer online, or done like they did a few years ago and have that new Doctor announcement special thing. Because maybe then we could have got some kind of immediate press reaction. We could have got the new Doctor and the new showrunner in a bit of an interview setting and finding out what they've got planned and what the show meant to them growing up on. What a great opportunity this is. But no, we get something that feels as though it's been thrown together at the last minute for no fucking reason. We're in the same situation as we were a year ago when we had the announcement that Bill was going to be the new companion. We got a trailer released that tells us next to nothing about the new actor in question, and then we're supposed to just sit back and go, oh my god, how great and amazing, woo, fanboy wank, when really it's just, okay, Bill's the new companion, and in this case, okay, Jodie Whittaker's the new Doctor. We have no greater insight on that. No opening words, no great statement that's going to live on in the annals of Doctor Who history. She's dressed in a way which probably isn't going to be her costume when it comes down to it. And I'm going to be honest with you, like I said in the beginning of it, the big rant for me, like I said, is more to do with the announcement of it, how they came to do it, and it feels as though it was just done at the last minute. They finally nailed down who the new Doctor was going to be about a week ago, so they just cobbled something together at the last minute, picked the biggest programme that was going to air this weekend, and then just put it on there. I would personally, if I was the BBC, I probably would have put it on during that pitch battle show or whatever the fuck it is. At least try and build up the viewing figures for that, because that apparently has been a massive waste of everybody's time. But at least announce it in a television slot around the time that it's probably going to be broadcasting in about a year's time to an audience who's probably going to care. Because the people watching it on Wimbledon don't give a fuck. They just want to know about Roger Federer winning the title for the 8th time or whatever the fuck he's done. You know, and not to take away anything from Roger Federer or what he's done, but really, it doesn't fucking matter. It makes no sense of them doing it like this, but you know what? That's not the thing that you're watching this video for. You don't want me to rant and rave about the BBC doing a completely stupid thing. You want me to rant and rave about the casting of it. or sit here and say about what a great thing it is, what a top mark it is for feminism or whatever. And on either point you're going to get anything, because for one thing, I'm not going to go into the politics of it, because I quite honestly don't give a fuck about it. If you're happy about it from a political standpoint, great, good for you, but for me, I reserve judgment to say one way or another whether or not I'm going to think it's going to be a success or not, when she's actually done a few fucking episodes on it. The thing that feels odd for me about it is that it feels like deja vu for me. I'm getting flashbacks now to when we had the announcement that Peter Capaldi was going to be the new Doctor. That now we got a bunch of people once again saying, fuck this, I'm not watching this anymore, the new Doctor's going to suck. The last time around, the people said it because they didn't want an old man playing it. They didn't want an older Doctor. They wanted someone who looked like they were going to be in one direction. And this time around, you had people who probably wanted someone who more of a traditional Doctor, someone more like a David Tennant type. They didn't want another old man. Instead, they get a young woman, and now they're still pissed off. Even though, at the end of the day, the casting of the Doctor, I'm going to say it, is ultimately a fucking pointless argument. It doesn't matter who they're going to cast as the Doctor. As the thing that counts, the thing that really determines whether or not this show is a success, is the writing. We've had, over the past few years or so, two fantastic actors playing the Doctor. They have been let down continuously by terrible episodes, terrible writing, and terrible show direction. It's not because of them as actors, it's because they've been let down by some truly fucking horrendous episodes. And as such, periods where we should be having some of the greatest acting ever, some of the greatest stories ever, with two fantastic, brilliant Doctors, one of which I dare say, pound for pound, is probably one of the best actors we've ever had playing the Doctor, getting shit episodes, getting episodes where they're just wandering around in the forest for about 45 minutes, and we're supposed to sit about and just clap at some great, big, bold, fantastical fantasy vision. That's the thing that counts. It doesn't matter whether the Doctor is a male or a female or transgender, whether they're black, white, Asian, doesn't fucking matter. All that matters is whether the episodes and the stories that they're in is any good. And we've been constantly let down on that point for the past 7 years or so. But here we are with a new showrunner and a new Doctor. Will they be any good? I don't fucking know. And I think the whole argument as to whether they're going to be good or not, at this stage, is kind of a moot point because we don't know. This could be the greatest actor that we've ever had to play the Doctor, with the greatest showrunner that we've ever had setting up the show for the Doctor Who show. Or they could be crap, and at this stage we don't know. All we have at the moment is a bunch of people that have just suddenly decided that either this is the greatest casting decision ever or the worst casting decision ever, based purely upon their appearance and purely upon them walking through the forest in a 90-second trailer. The thing, like I say, once again, which is going to determine whether or not they're good as the Doctor, is the writing of it. The BBC is never going to cast someone who is a terrible actor to play the Doctor. They're going to think long and hard as to who they're going to have being the Doctor. Male, female, again, whatever, they're always going to pick the best possible candidate in that position. They're never going to take it in a purely political correctness angle. Maybe that was a point in them casting it, I don't know, and I'm not going to pretend to know. I'm not going to do like some people doing and going on Twitter going, it's political correctness, so I'm mad because we frankly don't fucking know. Unless you're Chris Chimbal or some professional working within the BBC, you're not going to know it, so there's no point speculating on it and going off to your political echo chamber to bitch and moan or to sit about jizzing over the new casting because it's a woman, because we don't know the inner workings, the inner thought process of casting her. All we know is she's the new Doctor and we've got to deal with it. You can either stop watching the show or you can keep watching the show. I will keep watching the show because I want to see where they go with this. It will either be fantastic or terrible or somewhere in between. We just don't know at this stage. Either fantastic, great, or somewhere in the middle. So getting upset at this point I think is totally pointless. I understand again that some people are genuinely upset by it. And I don't mean to belittle you, I don't mean to insult you. I think that you just need to give it a try. And if it turns out that she and Chris Chimbal isn't to your liking, then just stop watching the show for a little while. Watch classic Doctor Who or watch a different show entirely. So long as it's not the X Factor or something on ITV, watch whatever the Christ you want. Watch them on Netflix or Amazon. You don't have a limited number of options here. You're spoilt for choice for things that you can watch. And for anybody who is happy at this news, don't go around being a dickhead to the people who aren't happy at it or the people that are apprehensive about it. whilst I am excited as to where this is going to take us, I am still apprehensive. Because at the end of the day, regardless of any other factor, this is going to be a gamble. I hear that Jodie Whittaker is a fantastic actor. I hear that she's great, but I've never seen her in anything. And how she is as a doctor may be radically different to how she acts in any other role that she is. Or more than likely it will be, because this is a different kind of role. And it's either a role that she's going to do fantastically well in, or maybe not. Or alternatively, we're going to get terrible episodes of a great doctor, which is pretty much what we've had since Stephen Moffat took over. So I find at this situation that we just got to suck it and see. Either we'll turn around at the end of this in 4 years' time and say that it was a great idea or not. Again, this is going to be a gamble, because the sheer fact that we've now got a female doctor means that some people are not going to be watching it next time around. But again, this is the exact same thing that happened when Peter Capaldi took over. As soon as he was cast as the new Doctor, you had scores of fangirls saying that they weren't going to watch it anymore, coming up with bullshit fan theories of how, oh, whenever the Doctor regenerates, he gets younger, that's why he's always gotten younger from when he used to be an old man to now he's younger, that's why it works. So by that logic, he should now be a 10-year-old or something like that. But, you know, they came up with these stupid reasons to justify their reason for not watching the show, when in reality, they may have just grown out with it. But, you know, they wanted another David Tennant type. They didn't get it. And now we got someone who may be a David Tennant type, but albeit as a female. I probably would rather that she was her own entity, but we'll soon find out. I don't want David Tennant Mark III, albeit in a female form. It is going to be a gamble again, because some people are just put off by it. I look on Twitter, I look on social networking, I look on forums right now, and there's some people who are giving the big speech about how they've watched it since they were a 3-year-old or whatever, and now they're not going to watch it anymore because of the casting of it. You got people who are over the moon, who are saying that they're going to watch it for the first time since David Tennant left it, or the first time ever, because of the casting of it. And in either case, if people are upset by it, they need their space to come to terms with it. But again, it is only a children's fantasy show. To get this upset about it, I think, is, and not to do anyone a disservice, kind of a moot point at this point. We're in a world now with countless television programs which, I'm going to say, are better than Doctor Who out there, that you're well able to watch via one means or another. And if you're just looking for great entertainment, you know, just look around, look on Amazon, look on Netflix, look on Hulu, or whatever website you want to use, legal or otherwise. I'm not advocating looking at stuff illegally, but still, people do it. And, you know, it's going to be a gamble. I imagine, and this is a prediction, and I'm not going to do the Chris predicts animated bit, because this is just an off-the-cuff video, that I imagine that the viewing figures are going to pick up with Jodie Whittaker in that first episode. It is going to be higher than we've had in a while. Probably not David Tennant level high, but certainly higher than we've had it for a while. But I think that it would be mostly people just giving it a try for the first time, or people just watching it so the sake that they can do videos like this and bitch and moan about what a horrible decision it is going to be and never watch it again. After that point, the viewing figures are going to slowly ebb away ever slightly, then they're going to plateau, and then maybe they'll rise up again. I don't think at this stage we can call it as being that, with the casting and Christian Ball as being showrunner, that all of a sudden it's going to become a big show again. Frankly, regardless of who was going to get the casting of it, whether it was going to be Chris Marshall or Ben Whishaw or Idris Elba or Tilda Swinton, at the end of the day, the viewing figures were always going to end up being low for the next series, and they're probably not going to pick up again to a significant degree for another couple of series or so, regardless of who is playing the Doctor. But, you know, we'll soon see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the show will go from strength to strength with her as being the Doctor, or maybe it'll crash and burn. We don't know at this stage. But, you know, I'm starting to repeat myself here, so I don't know. I was about to say let's go to the overview, but we can't really go to the overview because this isn't an episode. So what I'll say is, again, I am, well, you know what, I've not actually talked much about my own personal opinions on it, on my opinions on the casting of it, and my own personal opinion of it is, okay. That's it. That's all it is. It's just, okay. You know, I understand for some people, some of my friends are over the moon. They're doing virtual backflips at the news. But for me, it's just, okay. Because that's all it is. It's the casting of an actor, of a character on a television program. in a role that we're not going to see them play for another year. I don't get so easily hyped. And I'll be honest, I was tempted to do like a reaction video thing, like I did when I did the series finale video, but all it would have been just me going, it's going to be a woman. It's a woman. Okay, that's her. That's all it would have been. I'm not the kind of person that screams and shouts about these things, because it's just not me. It really isn't me, but, whatever. What do you think? Are you over the moon at this, as some people I know are? Are you not wanting to watch the show over again because of the casting? Are you indecisive, or what? Or do you just not really care? Are you like me, where you're just sitting here thinking, okay, that's interesting, give us the episodes now? And if you are going to comment, regardless of whatever your point of view is, whether you're pro Jodie Whittaker or anti her, keep it civil. I know that this isn't always the case, but if you disagree, don't scream and shout at anybody. Don't call them names. Don't call them libtards or fascists or misogynists. Let's not do that, because, it doesn't really matter, does it? Really, whether or not our opinions differ, because there are opinions. And, I would say, as I said before, if you're unsure about this, just give her first couple episodes a go and see where we go from there. Personally, I will only consider her being cast as the Doctor a success or a failure by the end of her first series. And if by the end of it I'm not feeling her, then it's at that point I'll start to panic a little bit. But if I'm won over by her, I'm going to be won over by her. If I'm not won over by her, I'm not going to be won over by her. I'm not going to sit here on either case and lie to you about it. So I really don't think that that's a worthwhile venture in any case of it. She may be great, she may be terrible. In either case, I'm going to give her a shot. If she isn't good, then I'll say she isn't good. If she's fantastic, I'll say she's fantastic. If she's somewhere in the middle, she's somewhere in the middle. That's just how it goes. I'm sorry that this isn't more definitive for some people, that I'm not screaming about how terrible it is or how wonderful it is, but that's honestly how I'm feeling right now. I am neither terrified, shocked, and screaming at the walls, vowing never to watch the show again, nor am I sitting here and wanking off at all the great possibilities. We've got a new Doctor. They may be great, they may be terrible, they may be somewhere in between, but we don't know it at this stage. I am pissed off that I had to sit through nearly 90 minutes of the tennis to just see a 90-second trailer which told us absolutely nothing about the casting of the new Doctor, apart from the fact that it's a woman. But fucky da, that's how it is. You think it's fantastic, you think it's terrible, let me know, but keep it civil, please. Let us be adults about this kind of thing. I may well do a follow-up to this. Possibly I may well do, seeing how the reaction's going to be to it. I don't want to do a video where I'm sniping or bitching or being horrible to people with different opinions to me, but I don't know, maybe for the sake of archiving it, maybe for the sake of this point in history where we are, how the response is going to be, and then in 4 years' time when she's eventually decides to go off to do bigger and better things, then we'll look back on it. I don't know, but thank you for watching, and goodbye.